You're listening to Woosox Insider, presented by your Worcester Red Sox.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Woosox Insider podcast. Today, you only have me, the producer, Dave, as TQ, Decaf, and Chris are all busy with their real jobs and getting ready for opening day to put on a great show for all of you. So today I have a best moments / funniest moments compilation of episodes 2 through 13, the episodes we've done so far up until the start of the season. So think of this as a best of spring training almost, but podcast version of it. When this episode comes out, it'll be the day before opening day. So if you haven't got your tickets already, make sure to go to woosox.com or call the ticket office at 508-500-8888. Again, that's 508-500-8888. I'm sure you guys are sick of listening to me already, so without further ado, let's get to the video.
I would like to thank you guys, too, for putting me in the clubhouse and not turning on the heat because it's absolutely freezing down here. I can see why you guys decided not to be down here. And I might prefer Zoom. I mean, TQ's kind of far away. I didn't realize I was in Decaf's yearly review for 2021.
Like, did you feel like we all had a plan for opening day? We were ready to go. Like,
I didn't even know where the bathroom was. So, you know what I mean? So, like, coming into that. And
after that first sim game, I talked to Joe and then I talked to Mike. And when I was leaving at 1 a.m., it was Mike and I setting up the lighting for that pregame show, which, by the way, set up all the lighting, left around 1 a.m., got to the park the next day around 8 a.m. All the lights are gone. How did my lights manage to walk away within 6 hours? I wasn't at the ballpark babysitting them. It turns out the great Charlie Baker, who had came to bless us with his presence that day, he had a Zoom with the president of the United States. And that was the reason they took our lights, was that he could.
That's a good reason.
I heard that and I was like, I want to be mad, but that's a really good reason to need lighting.
Such a good reason.
throw that all on top of everything that you just talked to. And guys, I got
the lights just went out on Chris.
Yeah, these lights are on motion sensors, and since I'm in here freezing, and yeah,
even the light sensors don't see you as a person.
No, it doesn't. I guess that meant God just told me to, Chris, it's time to just be quiet and listen. Go ahead.
Do you know what the final score was?
Oh, we won.
We won. Do you know what happened?
Oh man. No.
That's the thing. So many games. So
when I was in Boston, I spent 95% of the game on the concourse.
Right.
And you can't see the field from the concourse. I would drive home, and then like my wife would say to me like, "Oh, who won?" And I'd look at her and I go, "I have no idea.
I don't know.
I don't know."
I think my second favorite part of opening day, I just said fart. My second favorite part, I was getting ahead of myself, of opening day, especially if you're bubbly. I think Chris could use a little extra positivity.
I just laughed at you guys. When I saw TQ, I laughed. I don't know why.
I'm a funny guy, Chris.
I think I just miss you. Please come
funny
back
dude.
soon.
I miss you guys. I've, like I said earlier, I've been in sweatpants for 2 weeks now. So I don't miss like throwing a polo on and some slacks and a belt and tucking it in. And
you're acting like this office is black tie. This is not a black tie.
It's not. It's far from it. Yeah. It's sport.
He's wearing jeans and a hoodie. Wearing a
jeans, even jeans compared
I
to
dressed up for the podcast today, by
the way. even jeans relative to sweatpants, it's too restrictive.
Of course, the big leaguers take care of our guys as well. We call it spread, which is the post-game meal. They would buy spread most of the time, every day that they were down here.
Wow.
They really take care of their
appreciation. I didn't get that email.
Clubhouse. I had a player this year. You guys wanted some stories. Here's a story. So I'm not going to say a name, but during the alternate training site, we started with the alt site before the regular season, and we had a couple players filter in and out. And he was here during the alt site, and on his third day here, he walked into my office with his pants, his baseball pants, and he handed them to me, and he just said, "I retire," and he walked out. This is like my second week as a clubhouse manager. I had no idea what to do. So I go to Billy, our manager.
Did you just say like congratulations?
I was like,
Great career.
okay. So he walked out the door. I went to Billy, our manager, and I said, "Hey, this guy just retired." And Billy said, "No, I think he was just messing with you." And I was like, I don't think so. Like, this isn't the kind of guy who would really.
He gave me his pants, Billy.
He doesn't have pants.
Here they are. Here's the proof. Yeah. So Billy's like, no, I'm going to call him. So finally, Billy gets through, and this guy's at the airport, like catching a flight to go home. And Billy goes, "Wow, yeah, he retired. He's out." So
it's like AB in Pawtucket. Like,
yeah,
let's go.
He's done. So I talked to Josh that night, and I told him the story. Well, he was the one who brought it up because he had heard about it, and he was like, "What did you do?" And I said, "I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't want to call him because he wouldn't really know what to do." So that was that's one of those where now looking back, I would call him immediately and be like, "Do I run after him? Do I stop him from going to the airport?"
You have so much to play for. And walk away.
Mario, thank you for that story, because one day when I'm old enough to retire, what I'm going to do is walk into my boss's office and hand them my pants and say, I retire.
I'd go as far to say
pants to work that day.
Yeah. I'd go as far to say, Mario, I might seek you out. You might get, if we're across the country from each other and I'm retiring, you might get a pair of pants in the mail with the message.
I would know exactly what it means. And I'd have to call your boss and I'd have to say, "Don't go after him. He's done."
You don't get it. He shipped me his pants. He's finished.
No, guys, he's really done. I had this happen before. Once the pants show up, it's all over.
Pants means they're at an airport at least. But it
would come down to a half hour before game time, and a pitcher got put on the IL. So I went to that guy and I said, "Hey, you're on the IL. Is it cool if I take your number and I give it to this guy today? Because he's a large jersey. You wear a large. And right now he's in a XXX. So I think he's going to be a lot more comfortable with your number."
On behalf of
that. See, that happens too. And that's out of our control. If somebody's on the road and then they come back, if they got called up and they took their Woosox jerseys with them when they got called up, and then they got sent back down and they did not take their Woosox jerseys with them when they got sent back down, they had to be a different number. And sometimes they would be like, "Why am I a different number?" And I would say, "Well, if you took your jersey with you, then you'd be able to be the same number." We can't just snap our fingers and have them magically appear in Worcester. Every day I feel like there was something that kind of just blew my mind, something that I've never heard requested before, from picking up dog food to actually bringing a player's pet to the vet because he didn't have time to do it himself. Guys,
I would have done that.
It was fun. He had the cutest dog in the world, and one of my guys took him to the vet, and he was like, "That was the best day that I've had here this year. I got to hang out with a cute dog all day." Do you guys know the foul ball story?
No, let's hear it.
Oh, no, I don't.
See,
let's
Chris,
hear
I thought
it.
you were trying to transition me into that. So
I am a pro. I was trying to do that, most definitely.
Our pitching coach, Paul Abbott, great guy. He parks in the same spot every day. We had a valet company, but he was big about just parking his own car in the same spot. And it was right behind the dumpsters in the players lot. He did that specifically for foul balls, so his car wouldn't get hit. Well, I'm in my office during a game one time, and I get a call from somebody from the valet company that somebody's windshield got smashed from a foul ball. And they wanted me to come out and check it out because they didn't know whose car it was. Well, I knew whose car it was right away. And it was Paul Abbott's. And I was left in a pickle because this is during a game, but obviously he needs to know that his car is undrivable. So what do I do, right? Do I go to the dugout and tell him, "Hey, this is what happened"? So he came in to talk to the starting pitcher after he came out of that game. And I had a picture of his car, and I showed him the picture, and I said, "Just so you know, this is what your car looks like right now. We're doing our best to get it taken care of. And he was understanding. He knew that there was nothing that me or anybody else could have done. It was just terrible luck. But if you look at the way his car was parked, it had to be the perfect trajectory to smash that windshield. And
those dumpsters are like 20 feet from the side of the building, like to not hit the roof and to hit the car.
It was a magnet. It had to be perfect. And the baseball, I don't know if you guys can see that. It got pretty messed up. I saved it because I'm going to put it in his locker when he comes in next year as a remembrance of the best day at Polar Park for him.
Decaf, you, Alex Richardson, and our director that day, Mike DeMars, had a pretty funny misunderstanding when they came up to you and asked you if you wanted to be the Bat Boy. Do you want to walk us through that?
Yeah, they come up to me with this smirk on their face, and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on? Something happened?" And Alex looks at me. He goes, "Decaf, bad boy." And I go, "Yeah, I'm a bad boy. What are we doing? Is we doing some espionage? I gotta like flirt with someone? What's going on?" They're like, "What are you talking about?" Like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Bat Boy. You want to be the Bat Boy?" And I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, I do." Well, yes again.
Yeah, but Decaf won't tell you what the cameras didn't pick up. Before the game, when I was walking him around the warning track, showing him, where we put the ball bags, where to put the bats, just giving him a quick little rundown. I don't even think he heard a word I was saying because he was so involved with the fans. He was taking pictures. He was waving at everybody. I was like, this guy's not even going to pay attention to the game. He's just going to be signing autographs.
Exactly. I signed 4 autographs.
Yeah,
signed 4 autographs. There was kids sitting in the blue bug batter's box, and they all wanted my autograph.
I was a Bat Boy in 2019.
And he's looking there, and he's like, Tristan Koss. There you go, man.
Well, if that's not the most interesting intro to the Woosox Insider podcast that we have all season, I don't know what will be. The one person who is not with us is our co-host, Chris Bergstrom. So he lives in North Attleboro. They are getting hit hard by this storm. He lost power. He lost heat. So keep Chris in your thoughts and prayers, your T's and P's today.
Can you believe Chris bailed on the podcast today? He didn't want to sleep at the park. He lost power. He didn't charge his phone. He's saving his phone battery for emergencies. Didn't want to zoom in. I think it shows a lack of dedication.
I think it does too. And I think it's a little personal as well. But Chris, hard feelings only. I guess take care of your family during this time. And we'll think of you when it's convenient for us. But we'll see you back on the podcast next week. Dr. Charles.
Yeah.
Tickling the ivory.
Well, it warms you up a little bit. It's
I've been thinking this whole time I wanted 2 mics. This feels pretty good.
You've been the producer for 3 episodes and you need more airtime.
I'm gonna keep adding mics every episode.
You're gonna have to hold that up to the guitar.
I want to do like a press conference with just mics in front of me.
Do you know where you're supposed to hold it? I heard directly pointing at it at the 9th fret.
The 9th fret?
Yeah.
The 9th fret, you said. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the 9th fret. That's an optimal microphone for an acoustic guitar.
well, here was the point.
You're gonna have to hold it up to Charles too, so we can really hear him.
On Woosox, this is unrehearsed. on Woo,
Can you tell?
on Woosox 21. Always something cool and new. Very simple.
This is my favorite part.
Oh. To take.
You didn't do.
Yeah.
Take.
Now this is here. We needed the aficionado.
Yeah,
I don't play guitar.
We
on the
should have.
song.
Well, I think we mislabeled this session on Woosox.com when people were registering for Winter Weekend because this is music lessons with Dr. Charles Steinberg.
And all of this is my Tom Brady story, which is very short. We have a green room, a room where we're a conference room where the Patriots are going to wait. And I walk in. I've never met Tom Brady. I walk in and I see Mr. Kraft, and oh, that guy's Tom Brady. I walk in. Hi, how are you? Nice. And I just walk right on by him. Like I'm the only one who just sort of just blew off Tom Brady, because actually here was my friend, or at least a gentleman who I was friendly with. I hadn't met Tom Brady. I'm like, yeah, hi Tom, how are you? Nice to see you. So I have the utmost respect for him.
Yeah. Next time you're in public in Worcester, you get to shake Charles Steinberg's hand. Just know that he big time Tom Brady when he had the chance.
Inadvertently, unintentionally, but unequivocally.
I want to say I'm the only one on this stage right now that didn't spend the night at Polar Park last night. How was it, Decaf? Tell us some stories. Was it like night at the museum?
I was so excited for this because I was picturing it like night at the museum. We've got a big Casey at the Bat statue over there that whenever I walk by him, day or night, his eyes follow me as I go by. And last night I was having a staring contest waiting for him to start chasing me around. He missed strike 3, but I knew he was going to connect with my skull if he started getting off that podium.
He really is just staring right at the control room. Every time you walk in and out the door, he's looking daggers
Looking
right at you.
I had a fun time. I walked around this whole empty park and look at Casey.
So,
look at those eyes. If imagine it's 2 a.m. and
It's
there's
a
no
cool
one else
statue.
here and it's just you and Casey.
And you didn't know that I was here.
I didn't know. I saw your light on. I thought you were just not conscious about the environment.
Decaf, where'd you sleep?
I slept in the visitors clubhouse. The home clubhouse was locked. This couch I was trying to sleep on, so I was in the visitors clubhouse where we usually record the podcast.
Well, on what? On a couch?
I was on a couch. I had
They have some nice couches.
a couple
down
of
Is that right?
couple of my hoodies and sweatpants draped over me. I could not get the lights off. So at about 3 a.m., I made a trip back up to the control room, and we have like a pair of blinders that I was able to get a little beauty sleep.
So, Charles, a lot of people who have been to Polar Park have been up to the DCU club. They've seen the suites. What they don't know is that Suite 17 also doubles as your office space and apparently triples as an apartment.
Well,
for the record, I'm sleeping here because I don't have an apartment that's walking distance. Can't say the same.
but I was worried that overnight the snow would mount and not be traversable, and I wasn't going to be able to drive, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to walk.
Right.
And we had to be at Polar Park for Woosox winter weekend.
So you were worried that the snow would mount up and lock you inside. Little did you know that in your own suite,
Look at the floor.
while you
Look at
were
the floor,
sleeping,
folks.
resting your little head, the snow was coming through the door at
Check
you.
that out. The snow actually came in. It blew in to the suite. And it is still there.
It's still there.
It is. It's true. I was like, where did that snow come from? I didn't open the door with it. And then I just stared, and just little dust balls of it were coming
just
in.
flurrying in.
So yeah, it is true.
We did a live show during the blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't make it. What
Mhm.
happened?
Well, it snowed.
It did.
Did
Yeah.
it snow? Interesting.
It snowed. I live
You're right.
a good amount away. The power went out, no internet. And then like I'm texting you guys and TQ's like, well, here's the link. And I'm like, literally, I have no internet though.
Well,
I'm not gonna make it. And well, why don't you use your phone? I'm like, but I have no power, so I can't charge my phone. And
Have you ever heard of a portable charger?
Let me ask you, if you
I
knew
might
that
not be
last
back.
week's show was going to start with a musical number, would you have gotten yourself there to
Ooh.
be a part of it or to stop it?
actually, funny thing is,
Absolutely.
I brought my guitar. No, I'm just joking. no guitar here.
Of all the Tom Brady stories we've heard in the last week or so, I think that must be what finally did him in, because Schefter reported it. And then I think Tom was probably like, I wanted to be the first to say I'm retiring. I don't like this. But then once he heard the Woosox congratulated him on a hell of a career, he was like, you know what? I can't make these guys look bad.
I bet you he thought about that. I don't even think he remembers he played in New England. He just thanked Tampa, so it's fine. But we can move on from that and just get to our.
He
our
thanked
episode of our
New England
podcast.
after 20 years.
Yeah.
Decaf, how do you feel about it as a Dolphins fan?
I don't think I should comment on this medium, how I feel about it and how happy I am.
So we have an
You still
exciting.
aren't going to win anything, so I don't even know why you're excited.
Ding dong,
that's
the
true.
witch is dead.
Yeah.
His career is my entire lifespan. I don't
But
know
we-
a
but
world
we still
where
have
Tom
an
Brady doesn't
undefeated
ruin my
team.
Sundays.
but we still have an undefeated team, guys.
Yeah, 14 games.
Yeah. Ooh.
Must be nice.
One of
It
the
is
greatest
nice.
quarterbacks of all time, Dan Marino, who didn't win a Super Bowl. But I digress.
Gronkowski didn't have the angle. I can go on, but I don't think it would do for good ratings. We have a
You
show.
never know. There must be another Dolphins fan listening to this somewhere.
My uncle.
Yeah.
That's fine.
His
Jack
dad.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting interview you're going to hear, and it helped me out because there's a lot of staying the same from last year and a lot that is new and changing. And I honestly didn't have a clear picture of it until Brooke just came on and laid it out. So it's going to be a really good interview if you can stick around for it. Worth your time.
I'm very happy you have a clear picture now. Makes my day. I mean, Brooke, do you want to break some news in this podcast and let us know that there'll be a TQ bobblehead this year?
Hey, if that's what the fans want, that's what we say, right? We listen to the fans. and
Nobody
if they
wants that.
want- They did say that they want a Dr. Charles bobblehead, so stay tuned for breaking news.
Those should be like, it's got to work the duck boots into those, like bobble feet. Dr. Charles bobble feet? No? Okay.
No.
Okay. So we have Give It Wednesdays.
We talked last week about Charles Steinberg climbing into the smiley ball suit. When I first laid eyes on Wilfred the Wonder Dog, it was Brooke Cooper dancing around and putting on a show.
It was me. And Chris,
in front of the entire front office.
Tell them when I knew that Woofster came in, I was like hounding Chris. I was like, I want to be the first one in Woofster.
She was.
Hounding.
Before it gets all sweaty and gross.
And
That's a
then
good
when
pun.
she was in the suit, probably about 10 minutes later, she wanted to be the first one to get out of the suit. She had
You
enough
can't breathe in
already,
that
so.
thing. The unsung heroes of the organization are the actors in the mascot suits.
Decaf, all you do is talk about mascots. Every episode,
Every
you gotta
ep-
bring in the
I'm
mascot.
obsessed. I'm low-key obsessed.
And
Yeah,
TQ,
exactly.
to that point, as someone who's not from Worcester, I think my own family sometimes underestimates my role in the organization. I had like my grandfather, after seeing the logo, he was like, "Oh, a smiley face. That's stupid. Who came up with that? Who approved that?" And I was just like Pepe, I actually was very involved. He didn't realize he was directly insulting me. But
All right. So you mentioned you were a basketball player at Franklin Pierce. Dave Leonardi, who used to work for you in the merchandising department in Pawtucket, he did a lot of prep work going into this episode, writing down some questions that we wanted to ask you. And another thing he wrote down were your college basketball stats.
no,
All right,
great.
Dave.
I bet you they're better than TQ's baseball stats, by the way. So
Oh, definitely. So
Yeah.
I think the first thing to mention is you were named to the fall and spring NE10 Commissioner's Academic Honor Roll every year.
Yeah, I mean, I was a great student.
Yeah.
You're always on the
Smart.
honor roll,
I'm wicked smart.
but we got your stat expert here, Dave Leonardi.
Wait, Dave, can you do the programs thing
hang
for
on,
us?
hang on.
So Dave used to sell programs in Pawtucket for the Paw Sox outside. So if you ever went to a Paw Sox game at McCoy, you might have heard Dave yelling this. Go
You
ahead,
had to know
Dave.
this was coming.
Yeah, I yelled for about 3 years, so you probably heard me at some point. Even if you live near the stadium, you probably heard me.
Make sure to lean back from the mic when you do it. Let's hear it.
Programs here.
I would buy one just to have you be quiet for about 5 minutes.
One time,
have-
You
someone
did your
came up to
job
me,
for sure.
Someone came up to me, tipped me $7, and said, "God bless, have a great day," and walked away from my stand.
Do you remember how Pies in the Sky went on opening day?
I remember. I don't remember how it went, but I do remember our PA announcer Ben DeCastro looked over at me and he said, because this was a similar promotion we did to Pawtucket and everyone knew the rules. It was a tradition in Pawtucket. And on opening day, Ben looked over at me and he said, "I don't think anyone in the seating bowl knows that they have the chance to win a pie right now if the contestant wins the promotion. Like, we need to do a better job explaining it. And it hadn't even dawned on me until that. But no, I don't remember. And I'm scared to hear you tell this story.
So Pies in the Sky, we hadn't had a chance to do a proper run through with the airsoft gun that shoots up the soft toss ball. And plus the ambassadors that were doing it were all brand new to this. So they had the airsoft gun facing towards the outfield, and they must have pumped it up too much because the soft toss ball went like directly to center field. I remember watching from the concourse, just saying, "Oh no, get it off the field, get off the field!" Right? Because in minor league baseball, you have a set amount of time to get off the field.
At most
Otherwise,
2 minutes.
Yeah, otherwise, like, you get a warning, and we don't want to start off our opening day in a new ballpark, on a bad foot with the league. So anyway, shot to center field, and
We're also
and
in foul ground to stay away from all of the players.
Yeah. And both her and Siobhan did. I can't believe that was the first Kate Foltz, our incredible photographer, who's no longer with us. She moved
In the
to
team.
LA.
She just moved, by the way.
She just
She
moved.
is still
She's alive. Yeah.
just
But
moved.
yeah, I just want our listeners to know that TQ and Chris, who are Worcester natives, always go hard for Worcester internally with every discussion that we have. They are so proud to be from Worcester, and they always go hard for their city. That's it.
That's
well, there
great.
you have it. Brooke will pay you after the show.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's such an honor and a pleasure. I know I was technically the first guest when I kind of crashed your first inaugural podcast.
Yeah, when you were trying to just get away from work.
That's right. Trying to hide away in the clubhouse. So thank you for inviting me back. But
You should thank us. Thank you.
yeah, I owe it all to you. So
One of the biggest things is these Give a Wednesdays, which is a brilliant name for a giveaway. Let me tell you. Now, if you had come up with that idea of the Boston Red Sox and they didn't run with that, shame on them, because this is fantastic.
right. So yeah, I pitched Give a Wednesdays to the Red Sox, and I honestly think, again, maybe it's me just sort of misremembering, but I honestly think we almost went with it. But then there was a shift in the date. So they weren't going to be on Wednesdays anymore, that we were going to be doing the giveaways on Tuesdays. So I then fought for Give a Wednesdays every Tuesday at Fenway Park. But then I did get laughed out of the room, and there you go. It lay dormant for years, expecting to never be awoken again, and here we are.
So what we can take out of this story is that you have no original ideas here at the Woosox.
That's right. That's
okay,
right.
understood.
It's just
You're just
retread.
recycling.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, hey, let's try this one. Maybe they'll fall for this one.
And guess
we
what?
did.
Once we get through all of Steve's ideas here, he'll move on to another team and just start doing them there.
Exactly. Guys, I got this great idea.
Listen,
Give it Wednesdays.
good artists borrow, great artists steal. Okay. Somebody said that. I don't know if it was Picasso. Some artist said that.
Somebody who wasn't you, and you're saying it now. That's the important thing.
Exactly. That's exactly.
I mean,
right.
if we want to have an entire episode on black holes and outer space, Steve, that my Boston accent almost kicked in there, by the way. I usually catch
out of space.
out of
Out of
space.
space.
Out of space.
Perfect. All right. Well, all right. Here we go. The Bobble lineup. All right. First up, we have
Player to be named later.
No.
Whoa.
Yes.
That one is
That's a big one.
If
I
you don't
know.
have tickets for that game, what's the date of that game?
April 13th.
If you don't have tickets for that game,
Yes.
you are missing out.
Simon loved it.
This one's my favorite.
Not Chris Bergstrom, no.
Oh!
Not Tim Quididamo, but Rich Gedman. All right. We have Rich Gedman,
Getty.
hitting coach, Wednesday, June 15th. Wednesday.
I've seen this one and it's scary. It's dead on.
It looks like Rich Gedman will be hanging out with you. That's how it
To,
is.
yeah, to the point that when we showed him his bobblehead during winter weekend, it was on the screen. He was joining us on Zoom. It was on the screen for 5 seconds before he said, "All right, take that off now."
That sounds like Getty, by the way. That sounds just like him.
Yeah.
a humble guy. No, we respect that, but that's why we love him. But yeah, the next up, here's a big one. Here's a big one. Everyone, Chris, are you sitting down?
I'm on a podcast. Yes, I'm sitting
Perfect.
down.
Good. Okay.
I don't do it standing.
Wednesday, June 22nd.
Yes, give it to me. I just had a brilliant idea.
Oh boy.
TQ, we could do a Woosox Insider bobble together, me and you with audio clips
at the desk.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you
And
guys
it's just
think?
like TQ. What was your batting average in college?
Like 176, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
it
know.
was 180, 87. It was 187 because in the first episode you said 184, and I got mad because you shortchanged me.
What's the Mendoza line?
200.
200.
Okay, just checking. Okay, come on, let's roll. So that honestly, I think that is the biggest bobblehead that we're going to give away this year. Tate
Tate
Matheny.
Matheny, a Chris Bergstrom favorite.
You know what, you guys?
Yes.
I have Tate. I'm going to tell you right now. I have nothing against you.
You have
Steve and Brooke last week are setting me up.
you have to tell us.
Please do not look at the ground when we see each other downstairs this year. If the COVID is relaxed a little bit, I'll give you a big hug. But just understand, I'm never mind. Let's move on. Next,
No, Chris.
No,
Chris,
no.
Steve,
I
can
told you I
tell
had
us-
a good. I told you I had a good story about Tate's dad. We're gonna save that for another episode.
And then Wepa. Oh yeah, nothing like a good Wepa.
Wepa!
Have you guys heard?
Imagine you walk into Fenway and Wally's just like doubled over, like.
I can't say that hasn't happened before. By the way, let me tell you
Whatever the phrase is.
something about Steve in his opening day. So in the days leading up to opening day, Steve and I had a discussion. We were going back and forth as to what we were going to wear to opening day. So literally the day before, I'm walking out and I said to him, I said, Steve, so what are you going to wear tomorrow? He goes, probably polo shirt and khakis. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's what I'm going to do too. So we have our early morning meeting that day. I walk in and this guy is in a full suit with his tie on and fancy shoes. And here I am in my polo and khakis. He's like, oh, I decided last minute I'm going to be on the field.
It just
Like last minute, like you've had my phone number for 10 years. You couldn't even tell me.
Chris, I've been told
Woo,
before
team
you
store.
as a mascot aficionado, I've been told I have a face for mascotting. Chris, let me tell you,
fantastic.
my parents could care less that I'm on a podcast with the mascot aficionado for the Worcester Red Sox. But now that they know that I'm on a podcast with someone that works at BJ's that can get them maybe like a member discount, they're gonna lose their mind.
Oh, geez, I'm just here to make you happy. It's fine.
Yeah, and he'll be joining Jeff Levering over there, who is also a Paw Sox broadcast alum. But yeah, we're so happy for Josh, especially he's going to be calling road games on the radio, and Bob Uecker, the incredible, renowned Hall of Fame broadcaster,
Actor.
Bob Uecker,
From
right?
Mr.
Actor too.
Mr. Belvedere. Now I'm going way back there.
I think you're showing your age a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? He's a baseball announcer? No, he was known for Mr. Belvedere. Come on.
I think that for the rest of this episode, we just want to tell some of the fun, wacky stories that happen when you do end up working in sports, because you find yourself in positions that I think you never really believe you could be in. And I had one of those this year. I got to be the sideline reporter for a couple of games on Nesson.
That's right.
And
When you showed up that day, by the way, I'm like, why is he wearing a suit
Yeah.
today?
Usually I'm in
Shirt,
jeans,
tie,
a
like,
pullover.
I'm like, what's going on? And then I flip on the TV and I'm like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, I look good. I look damn good, Chris. Thank you for
He
saying
did look
that.
good. It's a very rare occasion. First of all, that TQ puts on a
Average.
suit. I don't know how many he even owns. Very rare occasion that TQ or I last season got to take a step out of the control room for a game. And so when he got to be on the call, we had a chance for him to be our silent reporter for Nesson for a game. We have a great video from Pitching Ninja. But the first live drop that TQ ever had, I will never forget. I hope you either have completely repressed it or it's something you'll never forget, because it's maybe it's underrated moment from the season. Maybe one of my favorites from the broadcast, and I'll treasure it forever.
So you guys have heard of the broadcast jinx before, right? Where a lot of times people think of it like with a no-hitter, a broadcaster will mention like, hey, whatever pitcher hasn't allowed a hit through 7 innings, and then the next pitch he lets up a hit. In my very first hit on Neston, I had an immediate broadcast jinx with perfect comedic timing. You couldn't have scripted anything better. Where I think it was Daniel Gossett, who's also a free agent right now. He had been lights out pitching at Polar Park. We're going into the bottom of the first. Josh Mauer tosses it down to me. I'm talking about how he pitches so much better here at Polar Park. He has a 4-something ERA on the road and a sub-2 ERA at home, even though everyone at the beginning of the year was saying Polar Park was a launching pad. Guys are going to hit 50 bombs every year if they play half their games here. And right when I toss it back up to the booth, he lets a fastball go, and it ended up leaving the park about 430 feet dead center.
What a pro.
Scoreless after 1. Well, it's Daniel Gossett who has pitched and really like a staff ace. One of the better starters in AAA East back to work. And for more on him, let's introduce you to the third member of our crew here tonight. It's Tim Quinidamo by the dugout. Hey, TQ.
Hey, Josh. Thanks. Daniel Gossett is absolutely pitching like an ace here at home this year. At Polar Park, he has a 3-0 record with a 2.63 ERA, and opponents are hitting a measly 2.05 against him, as opposed to on the road, Gossett has a 1-1 record with an ERA above 5. So the talk of the town early on with this new ballpark was that it is a launching pad. Daniel Gossett proving that wrong. Back to you guys.
Yeah, it's interesting. He deals with Mickey Moniak, who smashes one to center. Duran all the way back, and we will see you later. Home run, Moniak.
So, Chris, I think you've teased about it for the last 2 or 3 episodes. Every time we've talked about promotions, what is your Matheny family story?
Oh,
what is the Tate Matheny story? We've been.
I think once per episode you've teased this story.
So Tate's dad, famously, not only a baseball player, but he's a manager, right? So at the time he was managing the St. Louis Cardinals. And the Red Sox just happened to be playing the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. And if you've ever been to Fenway Park, there's no service level to Fenway Park. So anything that happens, if you're moving food, if you're moving garbage, the clubhouses, they're all on the same level that the fans are on. And the mascot room at Fenway happens to be right next to the visitors clubhouse. So over the years, I've gotten to know a lot of visiting players and managers and clubhouse staff, etc. So it just happened to be my night of running into Tate's dad just happens to be the night that the Red Sox won the World Series at Fenway Park in 2013. So here I am, with my best friend Wally, in the Wally suit, and I'm on the field when the Red Sox won the World Series. That was kind of fun too, That's
a story all by itself.
That's a story all on its own.
We'll circle back to that.
Yeah. So being on the field during the World Series and being there when the team won the World Series was pretty fantastic. But as I'm running around the field with this big flag, I said to myself, you know what? Screw it. I don't want Wally to be out here. I want Chris to be out here right now. So I'm like, it's time to go change, my man. So I'm running back to the mascot room down the hallway where the visitors clubhouse is. And I'm like, screaming, I'm like, yeah. And I get to the end of the hallway and I turn to my right because I noticed that there's people there. And I'm like, So I turn to my right and I look, and there's Tate's dad, a bunch of the Cardinals players sitting there watching this little television, drinking adult beverages, sobbing about the World Series that they had just lost. And here's the freaking mascot of the Red Sox, like celebrating in the hallway. So then I calm myself down. I quietly shut the door. 30 seconds later, boom, 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 boom on the mascot door. And I'm like, oh God. I open it up and it's one of my friends who happened to work for the team too. And he didn't notice what was going on behind him. And he goes, yeah. He's like, yeah, we just won the World Series. And then I point behind him and I'm like, Sam, right behind you. And he turns around and goes, Oh yeah, sorry about that, guys. He just slams the door. So that's my Tate's dad story. And it's just like, but it's just funny his reaction. He turns around, he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry guys," and he got busted in the room, and he's shooting champagne everywhere, and these guys are out there just wondering, what they're going to do since they lost the World Series. I'm not going to get too deep into the story, but everybody knows Johan Santana. He was one of the most dominant pitchers of his time with the Twins. And when he was with the Twins during a rain delay, we had this long hallway in the back that kind of went between my room and the visitors clubhouse. So he was bored. So what does he do? He comes and knocks on the mascot room door, and he goes, "Hey, you guys want to play wiffle ball?" So here we are in the hallway playing wiffle ball. Johan Santana was pitching to us.
Oh my! Are you in the suit or are you?
No, I'm Chris.
Oh my
I'm
gosh!
Chris.
You want to
And,
just hang
guys,
with the mascot?
Can I tell you something?
Wow.
I have never seen a better wiffle ball player in my entire life. Like, these balls were coming in hot, and they were going all over the place.
Was it the traditional?
Yeah, it was the traditional
wiffle
one.
ball, the yellow bat.
So here I go. I get up to. I'm gonna freaking knock the crap out of this ball. I get to stand up to bat, and I say, you know what? I have a slogan: if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right? So what do I try to do? I take a look down and try to pick up the sign that the catcher's throwing down.
Oh,
yeah.
If we're throwing signs in wiffle ball, it's already too late.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Like, he threw next ball was at my head.
Right.
So this guy, he brushed me back in wiffle ball, and then he struck me out. But I mean, this is during the time when he was winning Cy Young awards.
Today, our special guest is Dan Ray, the executive vice president, right? I probably should ask that before we started recording.
They say dress for the job you want. I came and dressed a lot like Dr. Charles today.
What goes into moving a team from one city to another? Because it's not just location scouting.
It's easy though, right? You just build a ballpark and call it a day. That's what we did, right?
I feel like an outsider in this sense because I was working for the team in 2019, but you've got you in 2019 and 2020 trying to figure out moving a ballpark, and you've got Chris Bergstrom and Tim Kudadamo just saying, "Please be Worcester, please be Worcester, please be Worcester, please be Worcester."
And my dad, but that's okay.
Then got an entry-level job with the Red Sox as a Fenway ambassador, and was able to do that because I was going to school down the Red Line over at Harvard, and so I was able to be at Fenway just a whole lot. I think that's probably where I crossed paths with Chris for the first time, sometime in the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Yeah. It's not an Ice Cats game earlier.
It may be.
Life, and you didn't even know it.
Could have been
if you saw,
intersections of fate that they definitely.
Did you ever meet Scratch? Because chances are,
I think I did. Yeah, I think I had a 10th or 11th birthday here, and I think he made an appearance there. So,
and I was like, this kid right here is going to make the most important impact in Worcester years down the road.
Yeah, I mean, I think people hear the name or the term general manager and they think making trades and free agent signings. That's definitively not what I do. Leave that again to smarter people than me who have more expertise and training in that. So,
and there's also a rumor out there that you're an expert on the weather, especially here in Worcester.
Yeah, I don't know if expert's the right word for that. Chris,
I bet you some people could see you pacing back and forth this year if they were at a game where it was about to rain or was raining.
We gotta set the record straight because everyone that has pitchforks and torches doesn't know where to point them. Dan Ray might be the guy unless he can clean it up right now.
with the target on my back or tire tracks on my back. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm the expert at the weather. I'm some sort of weather person, amateur meteorologist or whatever you want to call it.
By this point, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an expert in about half a dozen weather apps, and I think that's probably adds to the challenge of it, because everyone has a weather app nowadays. So every fan has a weather app. I can tell you every coach, every opposing manager and player has a weather app, and they will tell you when you tell them, we're going to go into a rain delay because there's rain coming at us in 10 minutes. They'll let you know why their weather app is better than yours. So it's not easy. I think Worcester.
And I think that everyone owes Dan Ray a huge debt of gratitude that they don't know about, because one day we couldn't play a single inning of baseball. We couldn't get the thumbs up for that. but Dan still gave us a thumbs up for the puppy parade around the warning track for Bark in the Park. Bark in the Park was saved, even though the game couldn't be saved.
As a dog owner, I had to try to make that one happen. So I don't know if the grounds crew loved that one, but again, you balance the constituencies as best you can.
A great place. Chris, do you have anything else? I feel like you've been quiet today.
Yeah, no, I needed to get to the rain delay stuff, and that's what all the people were tweeting me about. They're like, Dan Ray's going to be on your podcast. Ask him about the weather.
The masses asking about rain. Well, I hope
That's
I answered all
right.
the meteorological questions and gave you some peek behind the curtain, as ugly as it might be sometimes.
Yeah, it's perfect.
A full ballpark, a full berm, Summit Street. We're pulling out all the stops, and it's coming faster than you think.
And sunny and 72 degrees.
Yes, Dan Ray controls the weather, so we'll make sure we put in a good word, and that day will
The
be
rain, as we call our group the Rain Trust. Those of us who deal with the rain. There's more than just me. There's a few of us. So if the Rain Trust has anything to say about it, it'll be a beautiful spring day, just like this one that we have out here right now.
Yeah. Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Woosox Insider. That's right, we're still doing it. I'm TQ alongside Chris Bergstrom and Dylan McCaffrey as always, and today we have Kat Burns. Kat, your middle name is Merch, right?
Yeah,
it has to be legally. So
at this point, took a job with the Amarillo Sod Poodles, and that's kind of where I feel like my career kind of took off. We had a whole branding of the Sod Poodles. So
What is a sod poodle?
it is a pioneer term for a prairie dog. So
okay.
That makes sense. I think
I'm sorry.
this.
Wait, the Sod Poodles, is their current logo the one you helped design?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. A prairie dog, the meanest looking prairie dog you've ever seen, with a cowboy hat and some wheat sticking out of his mouth. Wow, this is I've never been so scared.
You go from a mean looking prairie dog to like a smiley face. Like there's it's like opposite ends of the spectrum.
yeah. So the whole goal of the Sod Poodle was to have a John Wayne inspired.
Ooh.
That's the vibes I get from it.
Yeah.
Sure.
However, last year was a different year because it just was. Everyone was running around and it was a chaotic kind of year. And I swear every week that we had new players, because it was every day basically that we had them. Mario was coming down and he's like, "Hi, we're out of hats again. Can I get some more?" Like, oh God, like we're running out of hats. Like everything's flying off the shelves. So we like had to put a backstock back for Mario and the team hats because we had no choice. It was just going so well.
Speaking of hats, in the first ever episode of this podcast, I dressed the setup real nice. I brought in some of my hats from home. The Wapus one behind me right now, that's my hat. I also had a Smiley Ball hat. And when we were doing the town hall kickoff for winter weekend, which has been airing on Nesson intermittently, we had a panel with Larry and Dr. Charles and Dan Ray. And I was told after the fact, because I was in the control room, that Larry on his way out looked at a Smiley New Era cap and was like, "Oh, I like this a lot. I'm gonna take it." So
wait a second.
Yeah, and it shocked me, especially because I didn't know whether I was going to file a police report or if I was just going to ask you if I could grab a new hat from the team store. So I figured, why not ask on this podcast?
Yeah, or we can talk to Dan Fontaine and just have him payroll deducted from Larry. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Please, I'm going to get on my pedestal real quick. If you are buying something and a store is out of it, it's 95% not the person that you're about to go talk to's fault. They're not the ones in charge. Be nice to customer service people because it's not their fault. Okay.
Yeah, TQ. Jeez, come on.
Anytime I see Kyle, I just have to let him have it, you know?
So
what about that Smiley plush?
And then we have a nice green tee with
hey.
You know, you gotta have the clover and the sign and the hat, because that's St. Patrick's Day.
And the beer. It's all in
Yeah.
one.
It
Chris,
seems,
you
to be a,
need that
it seems to be like a central, theme of our podcast is beer. It's
yeah,
what we've been talking about a
it
lot.
finds its way into
Pick the
every
merch,
episode.
all right?
Yeah, exactly. It works its way in somehow.
We saw that shirt in the store. We said, it seems like it's about time to have Kat on the show. Now that we can talk.
Yeah, so I actually was not here for any of the radio process, but on my interview in Charles's office was this giant board of all of the uniforms, all of the logos, all that.
I
good stuff.
remember that.
Yeah, so
And you were like, what am I getting myself into? This is not a sod poodle.
I remember him asking me, what do you think of all that stuff you see over there? And I was like, yeah, that's gonna do well. Like, we're the happiest team in baseball. How can you say no to that? I mean, it's a giant smash ball.
Do cars still
Smells
have
fine.
antennas? Do you remember that? They used to have like little antenna poppers so you could find your car in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Chris, you remember that. You must.
You guys are so
Don't
old.
start. Some of us still drive cars with antennas. Okay. Okay. Let's just. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, police cruisers, right? And that's it. I think that's where the list ends.
Yeah, right about there.
So you, Kat, got to see my favorite Chiefs game of the season when they lost, right, in the playoffs.
Yes, I was there.
Yeah.
Did you catch a look in Joe Burrow's eyes and just go, uh-oh?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure if you got close enough to see his eyes that there would have been a pit in your stomach from start to finish. It could have been that threw off the Chiefs a little bit. They're like, why did they let this woman down here? What is this W? Like there's nowhere near us that starts with a W. What is this? What's Worcester?
Yeah, I will say I did get a few looks on the plane ride to Kansas City. Like, who is this girl? Like, what's that W? Especially because I had a layover in Washington D.C. and they're all using their W, so it was like, it's not your W. Don't worry.
That's not a commander.
That made me forget what I was going to ask, Chris.
What I'm going to ask is, Kat, remember when you were telling us all the stuff that you couldn't tell us? Are you ready to tell us now?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry, guys,
how about?
I'm ready to pitch some merchandise. One of the Christmas shirts we sold, the holiday shirts, had penguins all over it. I love it if all of our merch had penguins on it from now on. Just a personal ask. If you can make that happen, that'd be great.
Yeah.
One day, someone's gonna say, "Hey, what if we made Smiley Ball into like a pin that people could wear, and then people would see it and smile at you, and we're gonna just come full circle back to Harvey Ball."
Everyone's gonna love it. Do you guys have anything? Because I can keep going for like alternate team names when we eventually have theme nights.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Nobody. The Worcester Diners. It's just diner themed. Another one, the Worcester Crafts. CRAFTS. Worcester Crafts. There's a big art scene and a lot of craft breweries in the area. Shout out to Wormtown.
Yeah.
So there's another one. Chris, what?
Worcester's got a big craft scene, like beer, yes, but you said.
But then it's a play on. It's a play on art.
Yeah.
It's a big art scene, like arts and crafts. I don't know. I've seen a lot more art than I have crafts. but I have
what else
seen
is
both.
Worcester famous for? Crafts. Let's move on. Come on, you guys put the stuff up on the board. What else is Worcester famous for?
I know you want the Worcester contraceptives to be a theme night.
Well, you're gonna throw that out there as I want that.
It's on the board.
You've pitched that to me.
I know I haven't
times.
said that in a public space ever, but yes, I think it'd be awesome. Oh, it's my favorite thing to see when we first got the Woosox jerseys, and it's just the front office staff that tried them all on for our photo shoot and everything. You can find a picture of TQ like with eye black, like looking tough, wearing the jersey.
I actually got tagged recently in like a Red Sox just fan page on Instagram. I don't remember the name of it, but they took that photo that Courtney Caparelli, our graphic artist, like put all of us, so it showed all of our different jerseys and hats, every different look that we'd be going with. And we did that photo shoot during the alternate training site at McCoy. So we were able to use some players, but we didn't have enough players there that for the amount of looks that we were doing. So I think Jack Verducci, Joe Jacobs, and myself all hopped in, and this Red Sox fan account posted on their Instagram story something about like, be on the lookout for these guys, and tagged CJ Chatham and me in it. And me, be on the lookout for me in the Red Sox farm system. Just making, I'm not signed to a deal yet, but you never know if the lockout continues and maybe like 25 outfielders go down, they might have to make a call.
They got time. They got time to touch with you.
Yeah, that would be a hell of a lot of injuries to to call me up. But I have nothing else. Do you have anything else?
Another week. I'm gonna miss you.
Yeah,
without you.
Well, you didn't have to leave, so. But yeah, that's it. For, on that note, that's it for another episode of the Woosox Insider Podcast.
Hey,
what?
I got something to say.
Say it.
You know, I need to get something off my chest. I don't know if this is exactly the forum that I should do this in.
It is,
but I'm going to do it anyways.
We're here for you, Chris.
So all I have to say is Jaron Duran. Because I can finally say Jaron Duran. I can finally say Jeter Downs. And how about when Chris Sale pitched for us last year? How about that?
Whoa.
Because
that feels like a curse word.
Guess what? Baseball is back.
There is a deal.
There is a deal. And they're going to Florida for vacation, just like you guys went to Florida for vacation, while I was sitting here at my lovely home in Attleboro during the snow, cursing inside my head, you guys, that you were down there laying on the beach in Sanibel, drinking your, sugary drinks on the beach in Fort Myers Beach too.
I like salty drinks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. I was getting some video of the players showing up, walking down from the player parking lot to the clubhouse, and Decaf like jumps in front of my shot and it's like, oh my God, Tech is here. Jason Varitek's here. And I look over, and about 50 yards away, there's a guy that looks like Jason Varitek. And then that guy turns around and starts walking towards the clubhouse himself.
And it's Pete Abraham.
Nope. It was not Jason Varitek. It was not. It was a player development coach. I can't remember his name, but
I was very excited.
Yep. So there was a funny interaction Decaf had with some of the players on the last day we were there, who they were asking us to get photos of them, like DM them or emailed them photos that we were getting of them. And someone came up and was like, hey, where can I get these photos? And Decaf is wearing a Woosox hat and quarter zip and polo. And he's like, oh, I'm with the Worcester Red Sox. And the guy just goes, yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Also, we had an Alex Cora sighting when we were down there. He's got a salt and pepper beard that, oh my goodness.
Looks great.
If the world gets to see it, he's going to do some damage. He looks like a celebrity, a model. He looks like, I don't even know.
Looks great. What? Chris, you're laughing. You're laughing now. You won't be laughing when you see it. I promise you.
He's got the Brad Pitt salt and pepper.
I saw it because you posted it on social, but the other, just like,
it's different seeing it in person.
Between last week's, the Worcester Crafts and calling Alex Cora a model, I'm done.
spring training should just be year round. Just it's baseball heaven down there. At least that's how I saw it. I'm waiting for your
What other
reaction to that,
questions?
Chris. I was waiting
Yeah.
for you to. I was waiting
Everything's
for you to come
baseball
down
heaven
on
to
me.
you. You say that at Polar Park. You say that at Crompton Park down the street. Like it's just like you have baseball heaven. It's fine. I'm like, but decaf, that's a basketball court. Baseball heaven. I love it. It's cool.
But I am here with Dylan McCaffrey, Dave Leonardi, our producer, sitting in the background hanging out. And today we welcome on.
I mean, you just go right up and down the list. We had so many great alums that we were lucky to have join us. And I was sort of the guy that was, getting all the players from point A to point B. And I think the craziest part of that day was when we were huddled up in suite 1. We were in that big 30-person suite that's right next to the Hanover deck. And I'm in the suite and I'm walking through, I'm talking to Pedro and Jim Rice and Jim Lomborg and all these guys about what they're going to do, what the pregame ceremonies are going to be looking like. And I think I have everybody's attention, and I'm going through the run of show, and all of a sudden, barging through suite 1 out of nowhere is Joe Torre. Joe Torre just barges right into the suite. I lose everybody's attention. How am I supposed to keep these guys' attention when Joe Torre just barges in out of nowhere?
I honestly didn't even know Joe Torre was here on opening day.
This is the first I'm hearing of this. Why didn't we know Joe Torre was here?
Yeah, so I started out as an intern in 2012. That was my first year in the organization. That was also Fenway Park's 100th anniversary. So it was a pretty cool summer to be interning. The Red Sox then I went off and had another internship the following summer. So they got rid of me. They won the World Series in 2013. And then I come back in 14 and the Red Sox are in last place again. So
made it happen.
I'm not surprised that TQ didn't remember that when TQ was in the zone in the control room. It's just, yes, what? They want a video? Next inning? Okay, cue it up, make it happen. Next pitch.
Well, yes, TQ, I've got many great oil can stories, but that is probably my favorite oil can Boyd story. The Syracuse Mets were in town. And as you guys might remember, Tim Tebow had a stint with the Syracuse Mets. And Tebow, I do need to give a shout out to Tebow too, because every time he came to Pawtucket, both Tim and his entire staff and people were just outstanding to work with. Could not have been easier and more down to earth.
Everything everyone's heard about how great of a person Tim Tebow is, there's even more good that he's doing behind the scenes that no one really hears about. He is the epitome of a stand-up guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Syracuse is taking batting practice. We've got Oil Can, who's in the house that night. He's doing an autograph signing, and Oil Can's, he was at McCoy Stadium all the time, particularly when he was living in East Providence. And so Syracuse is taking BP. Tim Tebow's out there in right field, and I'm watching with Oil Can, and he turns to me and says, "Hey, is that Tim Tebow?" And I said, "Yeah, that's Tim Tebow." And he starts walking out to right field. I'm kind of following him, and I'm saying, "Dennis, where are you going?" And he said, "I'm going to say hello to him." And I was like, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. This is during BP. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but sure enough, he starts walking a little faster, and he gets out to right field. And Tim, at first, he has no idea who this guy is. And
Right.
Syracuse's manager is shouting from home plate, "Get this guy off the field."
Yeah, as far as they know, it's just a guy from East Providence who's walking on
exactly.
the field.
We're all getting yelled at saying, "Who runs security here at the Woosox here in Pawtucket?" And but sure enough, when Oil Can finally gets to Tebow, they had a great conversation. Tebow actually knew who Oil Can was, despite not knowing initially. But when he found out that was Oil Can Boyd, he said, "Oh, no way!" And they ended up hugging it out, and Oil Can walked off the field. But that was just sort of classic oil can. Did not care at all that Syracuse was in the middle of batting practice. He said, "I'm oil can Boyd. I can go out in the field when I want." And that was great. That was one of my favorite oil can stories for sure. But there are many.
Joe, the amount of times I see you press your lips together and go, I don't know if this is a good idea. You're the mic man is built for this job. You field every request. You're in the yes business. I don't know if this is a good idea, but we have to say yes. So let's make it happen.
Yes, but please know that I did not okay oil can sprinting out to right field. He did that on his own. I pressed my lips and said no and urged him not to do it, and he did it anyways. So, but I appreciate that, Dylan. Thank you. Bronson Arroyo, Polar Park, May 1st. Yes, we're announcing it on this podcast here, and it should be a great day at the park.
Yeah, it's single game tickets on sale now for April and May, so you can book your trip to Worcester and see Bronson Arroyo on May 1st. There's also a 10,000% chance that Charles puts a guitar in Bronson's hands, right?
I was just going to say the same thing, TQ. I do not see Bronson walking out of that DCU club and that drum set that's by the bar without Charles and Bronson having some type of jam session in the DCU club. So yes, I can assure you that will probably happen too.
Get an autograph and enjoy the dulcet tones of Bronson Arroyo. What's better than that on a nice Sunday at the ballpark? I got nothing. Oh, actually, I do have one thing. I'm wearing green today because this episode's coming out after St. Patty's Day, but we have Worcester green jerseys.
Oh yeah. Look at that
out.
Look at that. Great for St. Patty's, great for Earth Day, great for any day that you're going to wear green. It should be your go-to green shirt.
If you have blue or if you have blue or green eyes, it'll really make them pop. It's a good looking jersey.
Oh yeah, Dave like that. Dave thinks it's funny in the background over here. He approves. Our producer. I know we tell you every week that I'm the producer, but I just like to be the producer on camera, and then I give all the stuff to Dave back there. We appreciate him very much. I've had a pretty good week. Spent another 60 hours ish in the fort down in Fort Myers, soaking up some sun. You know what, Chris? I took your advice on my second trip down there. I did finally find my way to the beach, and what a beach it was. Had a good time down there with Steve Peralt, actually, former host of the Section 10 podcast, one of my podcast Red Sox idols. I got to meet. It's I feel like the AAA version of him right now in my career. And then I came back, and on Monday I won an intramural basketball championship. Had a game winner. No big deal. Thank you very much. So I'm on top of the world personally. How are you guys doing?
Sleepy.
Oh, I'm very sleepy, but I got a coffee right here. We're grinding. We got 19 days till this park is full of people.
It wasn't much of a game winner though. It was a free throw, right?
It was a free throw.
Can I give a shout out?
What was it better than your game winner in the championship this weekend?
You're right. I didn't have one.
Yeah. Can I give a shout out to one of our loyal listeners?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it just happens to work in our finance department. I want to shout out Dan Fontaine, who has not returned my email that I sent him last week. So Dan, when you're listening to this, I would appreciate an email back. There's my shout out for this week.
We can do one more a shout out to your boy Lenny.
Vinny,
sorry.
Rough, brutal.
I it's on the tip of my tongue. Vinny.
Good thing he doesn't listen to podcasts, especially this podcast.
I ran into Wally down at the fort, and I got to meet Vinny, who Chris has said the most wonderful things about.
I love Vinny.
Yeah, being down there for a game was very different from being down there for practice.
Yeah, and there's no way Vinny's listening to this because he's probably on the beach somewhere right now, but in Fort Myers. So, but Vinny Casale, yeah, he's a stand-up guy. I love Vinny. If you're ever down there,
you didn't remember his name.
Yeah, good job.
He is one of the only employees at JetBlue Park who did not make fun of me. They were biting at the chomp, seeing me walking back up to the park, like, yeah, you bring sunscreen this trip. Oh my gosh, they all remembered me.
I'm sorry. You can put him in the bucket. You should see the text message he sent me after he met you.
Oh no! Oh no!
He said, "What does it say? This kid walks around with the biggest smile on his face. Something is wrong with him." That's from Big
That
Ben down at
is-
Fort Myers.
That is the consensus. That's
Yep.
my scouting report. Oh my gosh.
Hey guys, it's year 2. Let's add a whole nother video board to the ballpark.
Yeah. Always something cool and new, Chris. You know that. It's Woosox 22,
right.
baby.
Yeah. You need to get a haircut. That would be something cool and new.
The greatest pitcher in Woosox history might have to make a stop here on the way back up.
I have a good
Caleb
feeling about it.
Bort?
Yeah, Caleb Bort, maybe. Or
The
is he going to
greatest
be in
Woosox,
Boston?
the greatest pitcher in Woosox history.
I can't say enough about Christian Koss. After he hits the walk-off home run, he's one of the guys that just got assigned to minor league camp. After he hits the walk-off home run last Friday, he brings out a bag of balls from the dugout over to the tunnel and starts signing them for kids and like bringing balls out of his bag to throw to people that are waiting for him. Like,
And were you
not a lot of guys are doing
were you
that.
standing there with a smile on your face?
Of
Watching?
course, you can look on our social media. Our photographers are down there getting the shots, and I'm up on the railing.
I'll tell
like,
you what.
if my media pass didn't say no autographs, you have no idea.
Okay, that's a good
We'll get
question.
back.
by the
We'll get
way.
back to you. Decaf, what's yours?
I mean, if you know me, you know it. It's a karaoke song. It's "Love Bug" by the Jonas Brothers. I don't feel guilty about that one either, but I know that is an answer that raises some eyebrows. But it's an all-time love song by the
It's got it
greatest
all.
band of our generation.
It's got it all. It really does.
I saw them play at Fenway Park. It was the crowning moment of my life. They played Sweet Caroline. Get the Jonas Brothers to Polar Park this year.
I feel like I don't belong in this podcast.
Why is that? Because you're
You
old.
just call the Jonas Brothers an all-time band.
You
Like,
just picked Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
I didn't say she was all-time.
Well, she is.
The Joe Bros are the songbirds of our generation, Chris.
Next
Oh my
question.
gosh. A little bit longer. Tears.
Who would play Chris Bergstrom? I'll go to you first. Who would play Chris Bergstrom in a Hollywood movie about the Worcester Red Sox?
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Would he wear a hairpiece?
No, yeah. I didn't think that part out.
I say
But,
yes.
but at least the build is correct.
Right.
I mean, so yeah, that's my answer. That was pretty quick too. Well,
That was
Decaf,
very
you?
quick. Yeah, well, the resemblance is
Um,
uncanny.
It is,
Obviously, it was
absolutely.
quick. Yeah.
So is the bank
Absolutely.
account.
Mine,
you,
I get
CQ?
this all the time. Adam Scott, not the golfer.
Oh yeah.
Adam Scott again in Parks and Rec, but in
Yeah.
the movie The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and Dave will add a photo of Adam Scott from this movie. He's bearded in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and back when I was bartending, I would get it once a day. Someone coming up to me saying, "You know who you look like?" And I would just cut him off. I'd be like, "Adam Scott." They would go, "Who's that?" And I'd go, "Who do I look like?" And they go, "The little brother and Step Brothers." I'm like, "Yeah, that's Adam Scott." Those are the two
I
main.
live in a caravan down by the park.
One I know we need to ask Ryan Fitzgerald, who's smoking hot right now at spring training, just mashing the ball. I need to know the man's hair care routine
Absolutely.
because that mullet
I go
is
with
glorious.
the spiffy pomade, but he's clearly doing something special.
I need it from start to finish. I need shampoo. I need conditioner. I need to know if he's putting dry product in there. I need to know if he's. I need to know it all. I need to know what's going on. I need to know how he's cleaning it after a day of hard work, diving around the infield, getting dirt in the roots. How are you getting that out? Chris, these are important aspects of being a professional baseball player. Is what's the flow
Literally
look
gone
like?
off the rails.
All right, there's one more fun thing I want to do on this podcast before we wrap it up, and it's just because I'm excited about Trevor's story.
The first
that we
fun
just-
thing.
You haven't been
No,
having
but-
fun.
I
Look at that smile.
guys,
You've been
guys,
having-
I'm having a ball. I'm having a great time. I got a smile on my face. There's something wrong with me.
Okay, Decaf, tell us a story.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Woosox Insider Podcast. I'm taking over intro duties on behalf of TQ himself. I'm the guest, but introducing everyone here, TQ, Dylan, Chris, the whole gang, and myself, Mike Monaco here. Pleasure to be on, guys. I don't know if I've ever been a guest on a podcast where I speak first.
Well,
I think that has to be our new intro for every show. Hello and welcome. to the Woosox Insider, courtesy of Mike Monaco. It's great.
I can doctor it up. I can doctor it up if we're going to be using it going forward. I don't know if that was like my A intro right there.
I don't know if we have enough money in our budget to pay you to do that moving forward, so we might have to hold off on that.
The weirdest thing about that walk-off is it had the ghost runner rule. So extra innings started with a runner on second. So the Paw Sox are down 1 going into the bottom of the 10th. The first 2 batters of the innings strike out, and then the third hitter hits a walk-off home run, even though they were down 1. So it felt strange, but it was exciting nonetheless.
And with you on the call, ratings soared, right?
Of course it did. Look at this hair, Mike. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right. That's really why
we don't
I was
need a
late
bigger
getting on.
ego for TQ. We got to settle down here.
But Chris, that's really why I was late getting on. I had to make sure the product in my hair was as good as TQ.
I know you look good. Him,
Dylan wrote an ad read for you talking about a tractor. He was like, hey, it's a popular song. Do you want to tell us what went on with that ad read?
I will not give full details.
No.
People can scroll through the MILB TV archives if they really want to find out what it was. But maybe we just say this, that you have to be careful in I guess, a Ron Burgundy type of way, what you put on a card for me or what you say in my ear. Or what
you put on a card for you and then tell you, no, actually don't say this, and then have your talent go off script.
Speaking about Kevin Youkilis, what's cooler, calling a game with a former Red Sox player or the brother-in-law of Tom Brady?
Someone tweeted at us and said, like, any good like Brady stories you've mentioned at this point, and I steered clear of those. I'm sure he gets peppered with that stuff plenty. And what I also tried to steer clear of was asking him about his batting stance. Like I said to him, I think the way I phrased it to him was like, how often do you get asked by people, like, do it? Or where did it come from? What's the backstory? But I did say to him, like, hey, I was like everyone, like I definitely emulated that at one point. But yeah, we didn't get into any Tom Brady chatter.
You said when your family found out that you were going to be on the broadcast, they bought tickets to go watch the game at JetBlue. And do you remember what I said to you?
I don't, but I remember a few different conversations, including on the phone after the game.
Yeah, it was on the phone after the game. You said you couldn't do dinner because you were going out with your family. But when you told me that your family bought tickets the second they found out you were going to be the television broadcaster, I asked you, don't you think it's weird that they found out you were going to be on TV and they were like, oh, we can't watch the game on TV. We got to go see it in person.
It is funny to think about, right? Like, I don't know. I think I'm a naturally positive person. So like, I can say a guy, I think it's a good way to live. I think
Chris is not.
Well, then maybe this will ring hollow, but like,
have you ever met Will Middlebrooks?
I have not.
Yet? Okay, I met him
at a fan from afar.
I met him at a playoff game last offseason or last postseason. It was the day we won. We beat the Rays in that series, and I went down and I went down to go meet Dr. Charles, who was at the game, sitting front row. And I go down to meet Charles, and then I see Middlebrooks there. He shakes my hand. He says, "Hi, I'm Will." I said, "Yeah, Will, I know." And then I wanted to get a picture with him and Charles, so I hand the phone to the person next to him, and it's Jenny Dell. So you got to meet Will, and you got to meet Jenny Dell and get her on the show as well. And then you all have to
they're married
for a
right?
broadcast.
I
know they're married. I just
his wife was there at the game with them.
I was caught up in Will Middlebrooks. I'm just like, hey, here, can you take this? And then so Jenny Dell gets the photo credit for my Will Middlebrooks picture. We got to revive the hot dog eating contest for the broadcast. This year. Maybe that's the game that you get in on.
Hot dog eating contest?
Yes. In Pawtucket, we had a day where there was 25-cent hot dogs for sale, and that was a dangerous precedent to set. I had 6 hot dogs in the first 10 minutes of the broadcast. We had a competition amongst the entire crew, cameras and all, directors, broadcasters. Do you remember how many you ended up putting down against Josh that day?
I mean, I probably had like 2.5. I think is probably where I tapped out at. But I had grand designs for more than that.
Yeah, Dylan, you were in the control room. Like, you can just be working hard and stuffing your face. Mike had to talk. How many hot dogs did you expect him to eat?
Okay, well, it's a competition. You got to make do. We have commercial breaks, but I was in the control room for the first 10 minutes in which I ate 6 hot dogs, making a run to be the champion. And then I look out at our first base camera and there's no one there. So I run from where I'm producing in the broadcast. I run down to the camera in the 90-degree sun and I just dry heave for 8 more innings. And my final tally was 6 hot dogs.
Do you know our producer there in the back ate 10? He just said he texted and he said he ate 10 hot dogs.
I was just gonna say, who was the winner? Sounds like
The winner was it wasn't Dave. It was our center
Derek?
field camera operator Derek.
Derek.
He ate a
Yeah,
dozen
that's
hot
what I
dogs.
thought.
Which after eating 6 in the first 10 minutes, I could have put down more than a dozen. But if I just kept raising
Your
the
pacing
bar,
was poor.
we all would have gone to try and reach that mark, and we all would have been tapping out by the 5th inning.
Yeah, loosely speaking, though, I think my first regular season games will be in late May. That's when they were last year too. So I'll be tuned in watching Dave do his thing, and with all the great analysts, Eck and the new folks as well. I can't wait to listen to them, and Jemai holding it down, and TC and company in the studio. I sound like a company man, but really, like it's a really cool like group of people, you know.
The
and, like,
lineup
for
is
us Red Sox
unbelievable.
fans. Yeah, for us Red Sox
Nesson,
fans.
give this guy a raise. He's got the flagpole. He's running down the. He's ready to roll.
What is your guilty pleasure song?
Guilty pleasure song. Well, I don't know if it's so guilty, but like Eminem gets me hyped.
Nice.
So it's not
He's
really a
my
guilty
guy.
pleasure,
He's my guy.
but like
I'm sold.
Lose Yourself or Till I Collapse, like
You're
that
just-
makes me feel like a big high school like D4 soccer game is coming up, like at Alumni Field in Cohasset, Massachusetts. The other thing I would say, this might be a little more of like a not so flattering thing to promote, but like I love rapping the song Mockingbird. That's like of the Eminem songs, that one gets me hyped.
That actually
Hush,
reminds
little
me.
baby, don't you cry.
Yeah, not so much that, but like more like verses and like I forget what
Okay,
verse
sure,
it is,
sure.
like the third verse. Maybe. And
That
I'm
was-
not so much a chord.
That was the nicest way to be like, yeah, decaf, shut up. Like, no, not so much that. And then the other question that we asked TC that I want to ask you, if Hollywood, or I should say when Hollywood makes another Red Sox movie, who gets cast as Mike Monaco?
let me scroll through Z-list actors in Hollywood right now. Yeah, it's probably someone you've never heard of before. That's probably who it is.
Just trying to find new talent, launch somebody's career. What a stand-up guy. Or
Yeah.
are you
Well,
taking the
I
role
mean,
yourself?
I don't know if I'd be a great actor for a lot of reasons, but hey, I mean, if it's another paycheck, if I can get an IMDb page, sign me up. I'll give you one quick story. So I interned at Nesson in 2012, and I was, lowly intern there, but I got to like be around the game broadcast a little bit, like in an edit bay. This is inside baseball, but I would see some of the people who were there, like the on-air people, and Matt Stairs thought I looked like Zach Greinke, and he would tell me that, and then he just like would only just call me Zach, like super nice guy, like had to introduce himself, like what, like I don't mean this in a bad way, but like he would just refer to me as Zach because he thought I looked like Zach Greinke.
I see it now.
I see
Me too.
So there you have it.
Whenever you're here,
I
come
thought you
say
were gonna
hi.
say the podcast.
And the podcast.
The
too,
podcast
yeah.
is a little more exclusive, but we'll keep you in mind.
Decaf like once was enough.
No, Decaf wants some comp tickets to Fenway. Don't let it. Just let every time you have him, just throw them his way.
Don't we all?
Did you hear that story?
No.
Decaf would tell his friends that working with the Woosox, he would get like tickets to Red Sox games every now and then would just buy his friends tickets and act like he was comping them tickets.
That is so.
Everyone gets to go to the game. I get to feel like a big shot. Who's losing?
And I mean, it's not really like a negative because you are buying your friends tickets. Like,
Right.
Thank
pretty
you.
good dude.
Finally, someone supports me.
I mean, kind of weird, but pretty good dude.
That's all I was looking for. It's kind of a weird move. You're a very sweet man, Decaf, but it's just kind of a weird move.
Look,
Can I say
if my
Decaf is
future
a
wife
great
wants to go to
nickname, by
some
the
free
way?
Red Sox games, I'll make it happen.
You'll buy the tickets. I've told Decaf this since like we started working together, but Decaf is just, it's an awesome nickname. It doesn't get any better than that.
It's completely inaccurate.
Yeah, no, we're all caffeinated.
Need to be.
Need
All
to
right.
be. All right, Mike. Thanks for
Hey,
joining us again. Oh my God, are
TQ.
we gonna keep going, Chris?
No,
what?
but I have a question.
Yeah.
How do I get my tickets to opening day at
How do you
Polar
get
Park?
your tickets to opening day? Well, you can go to woosox.com. Tickets are still on sale, or
Who's the company man now?
you can call the ticket office at 508-500-8888. That number again, 508-500-8888. We'll see you for
Dr.
opening
Charles,
day
give
and
this,
opening
give this
week.
guy a raise. Look at this.
Whoa. There's 3 of us here, not that guy.
No, just one guy. All right. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you, Mike.
See you later.
A pleasure, guys.